Hey there, Steelers Nation. Welcome back to the channel, your ultimate hub for all things Pittsburgh Steelers. The team is firing on all cylinders, constantly striving to refine their game and deliver the kind of results that make us all proud. We've got a packed show today, diving into the key highlights, reactions, and narratives surrounding our gritty win over the Baltimore Ravens. But before we get started, smash that like button to show your support, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's jump in. What a game it was in Week 11. The Steelers squared off against our longtime rivals, the Baltimore Ravens, in a classic AFC North slugfest. The final score? A hard-fought 18-15 victory, with every yard and every decision counting in this nail-biter. But the big storylines coming out of the game aren't just about the scoreboard. Let's dive into the player reactions, key performances, and what this means for the rest of the season. Wide receiver George Pickens had some interesting thoughts about Justin Fields, who saw limited but impactful action in his return. Fields hadn't played in a month, but his situational appearances were a talking point after the game. According to a report from Chris Adamski, Pickens was optimistic about how Fields was used, particularly in high-pressure scenarios like 3rd and long. "I think it's good for certain situations," Pickens said. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 15, or 2nd and 15, when we need him to get the yards back. I think it's always good to have a switch-up as well. Fields wasn't the star of the game, but his presence on the field provided the kind of versatility and unpredictability that the Ravens' defense struggled to adapt to. In a game where every inch mattered, having a dynamic option like Fields was a strategic advantage. The Ravens-Steelers rivalry is as intense as they come, and Sunday's game was no exception. The chippy, aggressive atmosphere was palpable. But Pickens highlighted how the Steelers kept their composure in a heated environment. "That's what, me personally, wants the team to be like," Pickens said. "A lot of guys gonna talk. I'm gonna talk. But as far as making plays on the field is the most important part. And I feel like we did that more than them." Pickens also touched on how the team expected a battle and embraced the physicality of the game. "A rivalry game, a very chippy game," he noted. "I would probably say just aggressiveness. It's a rivalry game, so something you expect." And Pickens didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk. With 8 catches for 89 yards, he led the Steelers' receiving group and was instrumental in moving the chains during critical moments. While the Steelers didn't manage to find the end zone, the offense showed resilience and adaptability. Chris Boswell's flawless kicking performance accounted for all 18 points, but the offense deserves credit for putting him in position. "We kind of got some of the looks that we expected," Pickens explained. "A lot of them, I would probably say 65% of them, weren't the looks from film. A team is always going to try to switch it up and get your guys confused. The Ravens threw unexpected defensive schemes at Russell Wilson and company, but the Steelers stayed efficient. When the defense switches up the coverage and tries to confuse you, all you can do is play to the best of your ability," Pickens said. "So, when we're efficient, there's nothing you can do to stop us." Speaking of Wilson, the quarterback has faced some criticism after 2 consecutive less-than-stellar performances. Against the Ravens, he completed 23 of 36 passes for 205 yards and an interception. Not the highlight reel numbers we're used to seeing from him, but context matters. "They did a good job. We knew it was going to be a battle back and forth in this game," he said. "I knew it was going to be a tougher will in the end. That's just how these games are. It was huge for us to be able to respond." Wilson's leadership and ability to adapt shone through, even in a tough outing. His 4-0 record as the Steelers' quarterback speaks for itself, and there's no need to hit the panic button just yet. On the defensive side, Peyton Wilson made a game-changing interception that helped seal the win. This was yet another reminder of why the Steelers are renowned for their defensive prowess. The Ravens' Lamar Jackson also had a rough day, finishing with a 66.1 passer rating, just slightly below Wilson's 67.5. Here we are in Week 11, and the Pittsburgh Steelers find themselves in a position many didn't expect at the start of the season. They control their own destiny for the coveted #1 seed in the AFC playoff race. Let me break it down for you. The Steelers are sitting at 8-2 after their gritty win over the Baltimore Ravens, currently ranked as the #3 seed in the AFC. Ahead of them are the Kansas City Chiefs at 9-1 and the Buffalo Bills at 9-2. However, things could look very different by the time the playoffs roll around. Here's the scenario. If the Steelers win out, they're guaranteed to take the top seed. Yes, you heard that right. Win every game from here on out, and Pittsburgh will secure home field advantage throughout the playoffs. It's a tall order, but let's talk about why it's possible. The Steelers' remaining schedule is challenging but manageable. One game that stands out is the Christmas Day showdown against the Kansas City Chiefs, right here in Pittsburgh. This game is huge for two reasons. It would give the Steelers a critical head-to-head tiebreaker over the Chiefs, which could come into play if both teams finish with the same record. Looking at the Buffalo Bills, they're heading into their bye week. If the Steelers beat the Cleveland Browns next week, Pittsburgh will move ahead of Buffalo due to a superior conference record. Remember, one of the Steelers' 2 losses this season was against the Dallas Cowboys, an NFC team, while the Bills' losses include AFC opponents. If we end the regular season in a 3-way tie between the Steelers, Bills, and Chiefs, here's how it plays out. The Steelers and Bills would both advance past the Chiefs due to head-to-head victories. Between Pittsburgh and Buffalo, the Steelers hold the edge with a better conference record. It's a complicated puzzle, but the pieces are falling into place for the Steelers to control their destiny. Let's take a closer look at the current playoff standings. Kansas City Chiefs, 9-1. No margin for error, with the Steelers on their heels. Buffalo Bills, 9-2. A bye week next week gives them a chance to regroup, but their schedule doesn't include Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steelers, 8-2. Poised to climb the ranks with a win against the Browns. Houston Texans, 6-4. A strong season but unlikely to threaten the top 3. Wild card contenders include the Los Angeles Chargers, 7-3, and the Baltimore Ravens, 7-4, but neither is in a position to challenge the Steelers' path to the number 1 seed. Let's talk about why this matters so much. Securing the number 1 seed means home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which is a massive boost. Can you imagine a packed Acrisure Stadium in January, with the terrible towels waving as the Steelers march toward the Super Bowl? It's the stuff dreams are made of. Plus, the number 1 seed gets a first-round bye. In a season as physically demanding as this one, an extra week of rest could make all the difference in the postseason. For the Steelers to pull this off, they'll need to stay laser-focused. Winning out means handling business against the Browns, handling the Chiefs in what might be the game of the season, and staying sharp against other opponents. Let's not forget how well the Steelers have performed in high-pressure situations. This team thrives when the stakes are high, and that's exactly the kind of energy we'll need down the stretch. Within the AFC North, the Steelers have positioned themselves as clear frontrunners. Pittsburgh, 8-2, a perfect 5-1 record in the AFC and undefeated in division play. Baltimore, 7-4, after falling to Pittsburgh in Week 11, they're chasing but lagging behind. Cincinnati, 4-6, the Bengals have been inconsistent and are unlikely to challenge Pittsburgh. Cleveland, 2-8, a tough season for the Browns, but rivalry games are never easy. The Steelers' dominance in the division is another factor that could secure their playoff success. So there you have it, Steelers Nation, a gritty win that showcased the team's resilience, adaptability, and determination to rise above challenges. What do you think about George Pickens' comments on Justin Fields' usage? Do you think Russell Wilson can bounce back and silence the critics in Week 12 against the Cleveland Browns? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Let's keep the conversation going, and as always, go Steelers!